Alright, we'll be doing the number 6 of the 2017 AP Calculus AB Free-Response questions. Okay. This will be like a 4-part series, and I'll be going over number A in this video. So A states, find the slope of the line tangent to the graph of f at x equals pi. So basically, what slope of the line means is derivative, and yeah, we'll need to find the slope or the derivative of the line of f at pi. So when we find that derivative, we'll need to plug in pi into f or f prime. So let's write our information down to set things straight before we start doing all our math. So what we're given is f of x equals cosine of 2x plus e to the sine of x. That's our given. Now we need to find the slope of the line, and in order to find that, we need to find derivative of f prime x. So we encounter this first part of the equation, which is cosine 2x. In order to find the derivative of this, we need this rule called the chain rule that we learned at the beginning of this calculus course. It goes like this: f of g of x, and the derivative of this equals f prime of g of x times g prime of x. That's the chain rule. So in order to find the derivative of this, we'll say f is cosine, and then we'll say 2x is g of x. So the first part is we need to find the derivative of f, and then write g of x in there. So the derivative of cosine is just negative sine. And then we'll write g of x in there. And then we'll multiply by g prime of x, and the derivative of 2x is just 2. That's the first part then. So now we have e to the sine of x. I'll use e to the x as I don't know, just an example of how to find the derivative of these types of parts. So of e to the x. So in order to find e to the x, we take this number, we take this number right here. We put it in front, and then we find the derivative of that. So in this case, x will just become 1. And then the rest of it goes unchanged. So basically, the derivative of e to the x is just e to the x. This 1 just disappears. So now we'll apply this rule to this e to the sine of x. So first, we look at this number here, the sine of x. We find the derivative of that, and then we multiply by whatever we started with, which is e to the sine of x. So now, the derivative of sine of x is just cosine x. And then we'll multiply by e to the sine of x. So now we have our derivative of f of x. Now it asks us to find the graph of f, the slope of the line, at x equals pi. So now in order to find that, we'll just plug in pi. We'll just replace this x with pi. So we'll find the slope at pi. So we'll rewrite it. F prime of pi equals, then we'll replace every single x we see in this equation with a pi. So and I'm going to move this 2 over to in front of the sign to make things look more simple. Negative 2 sine 2 pi plus cosine of pi times e to the sine of pi. So now that we have written down everything here, now we just solve. Very simple. First we have 2, negative 2, times, let's makeshift unit circle here. We have sine 2 pi, we'll go all the way around, and now sine is 0 here. So write 0 plus cosine pi. If it was here, cosine would equal 1, but if it is over here, cosine will equal negative 1. So in this case, if we go pi over, cosine will equal negative. This part will equal negative 1. Negative 1. So now we have e to the sine of pi. Sine is 0 here, and sine is 0 here. So it will be e to the 0. And we know that any number to the 0th power will equal 1. So in this case, this will be replaced with 1. So therefore, f prime of pi will equal this combined together, which is negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus negative 1 times 1 is just negative 1. Negative 1. There we go.